the last little piece, the last step to make your business work without you. I'm Andrew Laurie from BGB, and today I want to talk about that last step. The last thing, usually it's the last thing, that enables your business to work without you. I'll call it management systems, but we're talking about the glue that holds it all together. Beautifully, this is a very quick thing to put in place. It can be done in a week, I reckon. It's usually very straightforward. Now, what we're talking about are management systems, but we're only talking about 3 different elements of those management systems. All 3 need to be in place. So I'll talk about them in no particular order. The context, by way of background though, is that other aspects of systematizing the business are there. You've got some clarity around who does what. Accountabilities, org charts, position descriptions, different formats, but we know who is accountable for what. It's clear on how it should be done, whether that's process mapping, whether it's checklists, you've defined the standards that things are to be done to. So it's clear who does what and how it is to be done. You're clear on what we're all about, and that is to say that and whether you use a vision or a mission or a purpose, doesn't matter, but you clear why does this business exist? What are we trying to achieve? And importantly, what's the culture we're going to operate to? What's that set of behaviours that's right for our business that is going to really allow us to succeed at the level we want? So these things are all in place. Now we need the glue to make sure it's actually happening. Because at that point, if those things are in place, it should all work. So the management systems will fix that. 3 things in the management systems, as I mentioned. The first of which is a dashboard. There will be more than one in the business, but for now I'm going to talk singularly, a dashboard. And where I'm coming from here is, when I owned a business in Sydney and I was living in France, having a year off, I wanted to know once a month that my business was going well. Likewise, the customers I work with, the clients I have, they're in the same boat. A lot of them either live in other parts of the world or are focused on other things. They want one simple dashboard that says, yep, things are under control. So where this dashboard needs to focus is into the future. Once a month as the owner, you are typically also seeing financials. You're going to see the P&L and the balance sheet at minimum. Great. That tells you what happened last month. So it tells you, yep, we had a good month. Things are good. The balance sheet is fine. That's going to give you a certain level of reassurance and comfort. But also from an operational perspective, we want to know the right things are happening to keep us succeeding into the future. So there's usually a few categories that the dashboard will cover. Couple of metrics on each. I like, by the way, a dashboard to have a maximum of 10 things, 10 numbers or 10 data points. Certainly it fits on a page. I mean, usually they fit on half a page, but they're not long. So something that says we're generating new business. So maybe lead generation or conversion rate, something like that says, therefore, we're going to have business into the future. Something that says we're really looking after our customers. Whether it's some satisfaction scores, net promoter score is popular, whether it's a measure of repeat business or customer retention or loyalty, something like that. All of those are indicators, some combination of a couple of those, indicate that we're doing a good job of looking after our customers, and therefore we're probably going to keep more of them and they're going to keep coming back. Excellent. Something about stability of the staff, stability and productivity perhaps, but knowing that we're keeping our staff. For some businesses who are growing, of course, we're growing our staff, but we're not losing too many. That we're actually retaining people. People are doing their jobs. People are productive. That's a sign that, yep, the business is probably going to keep going into the future. Perhaps one financial measure I do like to see on the dashboard is low point of the cash flow forecast. So your business has a cash flow forecast that's at least 3 months out. Great. As long as the low point in that period of time is above whatever sort of threshold we've set, great. I'm comfortable. So these are the sorts of basic measures that a dashboard will have that just give you a quick look. Yep, not only did we perform well last month, not only is our balance sheet fine, but operationally, the future looks good. Great, so we've got that in place. The second thing that needs to be clear for the team is, so what? The team need to understand when we achieve our plans, when we hit our budget, when we deliver great results in the business, what's in it for them? Is there some sort of reward? Is there some sort of bonus scheme? Is there a gift they all get? Do they get a trip away? Do we have a conference in Fiji? It can be all sorts of different things. It can be tangible reward, it can be intangible reward. But having some insight into the reward, the benefit, the bonus, the upside, when we deliver beautifully, what's in it. And also a little bit of an understanding of the consequence. It's important, and I'm not just talking about if you do a bad job, you're fired. Eventually, if everyone does a bad job, they're going to be fired because the business is going to go under. So them understanding the consequence for the business, perhaps the consequence for their team, the consequence for how things might change if they don't deliver on the plan, if they don't hit the budget. So making sure people know why it's important, what's in it, if it goes well, what happens if it doesn't. The last thing, at this point, in theory, it really is all that. You've just at this point got to make sure that everyone in the business is going to have the information that they need when they need it. This is primarily about communication. So what is the rhythm of interactions that needs to systematically keep happening to ensure that information flows appropriately? And whether that's great, we're going to have a weekly team meeting with a certain agenda, weekly one-on-ones also with a certain agenda, once a fortnight, maybe a sales meeting or something like that, maybe obviously quarterly planning workshops, that's pretty standard. We might, some businesses, especially when things are pretty frantic, they do things like a daily huddle each morning to get focused. There's a whole range of meetings, communications, interactions that you can systematize. Decide what your business needs though. Decide what is that set of interactions that need to keep happening in order to ensure that the passage of information is good in the business. Everyone who needs to know something knows it when they need to know it. That way, the systems are in place, the management systems keep it all on track. People understand why we're doing it, and the communication is such to ensure that it all happens. At that point, the business will work without you. One of the great, if not the greatest moment in any business owner's evolution. So good luck with it. All the best.